I am sick of people telling me that motorsport is expensive. I get it all the time. How much does this cost? What is that doing? You're paying too much. You can't do this. You can't do that. What if I told you that motorsport isn't expensive?
Liar!
And if I can show you a way of how it doesn't have to be expensive while still enjoying yourself.
Cody, mate, you've lost the absolute plot. We know motorsport's expensive. You can't show us it's not expensive.
Well, bear with me here. I've got my own 944 Turbo that I'm going to do this experiment on.
Could have started with a cheaper car, mate. Come on.
I know, but I had this one and I like this one and I really enjoy it. But I did buy this car to start doing hill climbs and track days and all that type of stuff as well. So, with this car, some hand tools and a little bit of money, just a little bit, I'm going to show you how to be track ready, and we're going to interview some people that are spending far less money than me and see what they spend and what they're doing for their yearly racing budget. As someone that races something like this, as you can see, the Aussie racing cars here, and if any support category and national category and everything like that around Australia, they do cost a fair bit of money. I'm not going to lie about it. It is a fair bit of money. But racing something like this is something that I can drive on the road, enjoy, do a lot of bench racing with, and do some competitive racing with it that's pretty low risk, to be honest with you. I can show you how we can get on the track. No, you're not going to Formula One, but you're still going to bloody enjoy yourself. Now, there's a couple of disciplines that are really, really cost effective. And the one I'm going to pick for this weekend is hill climb racing. Now, I've got a local hill climb track about half an hour away from me. And it's probably one of the most challenging circuits I've been on. And I've nearly raced every circuit in Australia. A little bit of money, I can just go out there, have some fun, have a cup of tea, have a cut lunch, come home and tell everyone how good I was. So let's break over the initial costs. Now, you're going to have to get yourself a speed license, so a Motorsport Australia speed license or an equivalent license to what your club or where the track you are racing as needs. Another example, AASRA, I believe it is. You can double check that for me. I'm racing with Motorsport Australia this weekend. Let's look at the cost of that. Now, first cost we're going to talk about is getting your license. Now, depending on the event that you're entering, this one will be with Motorsport Australia at the MG Car Club up at Ringwood. Those speed licenses which you need to compete are going to cost me $170, and that's all good for the year. So we're starting about that. As for entering the event, with my car behind me, it's going to cost me $80 to enter. So do the maths there for me, around $250 odd. You're better at maths than me. I'm trying to think on my feet. I failed maths, so don't worry about that. So let's say we're at that cost straight away. Now, another cost to consider is maintenance. Now, whatever your car you might have, whether you've bought a $1,000 car that you just want to go have a bit of fun with, or you've bought yourself a $500,000 Ferrari, you've got to have your maintenance correct. Now, there's a lot of stuff you can do at home, simple things as well. Checking oil levels, checking coolant levels, checking tyre pressures, check your brakes are okay as well. You want to make sure that you've got enough brakes depending on the event you're doing. Now, we're not worried about having the most high-tech engine and braking system and all that type of stuff. These events can be generally lower speeds. I know the top speed at our track we're probably getting to around 110 kilometers if you're really pushing at it. Yes, if you go to a speed event like a super sprint or something like that, the speeds are going to be higher. When you start to get to that level, you can start look at spending more money on the maintenance. But in this sense, it's simple. I've gone around, I've checked the brakes, I've put it up on the hoist. I know you might not have a hoist at home. Jack it up, make sure everything's tight, make sure it looks safe, check your oil, check your coolant, and there's your maintenance all done. If you are worried about it, get a mechanic involved. Your local mechanic, or if you've got a good relationship with your mechanic, start having to chat to them. Say, I'm going to start competing with this car. Is there anything I need to make sure it's safe? They'll be the best people to advise you from there. Now, what's the other stuff we're going to need for our race car? We can start talking about all the fun things we get to put on there. And you might be thinking there's going to be a heap of cost and money involved in this. That one is actually incorrect. And I'm going to show you what items you're going to need to get ready for your hill climb and super sprint event. Now, first and foremost, toe stickers, battery stickers. Now, what I actually did with these, they were pretty cost effective. I think they cost me around $20-30 on eBay. They're actually a magnet. So What I can do, because I didn't want to ruin the looks of the car, make sure there's stickers on it and ruin the paint, I can just jam them on when I get to the race meet and then take them off as need be. The second thing that we need, now, these are numbers. This is my favorite racing number. And these are actually magnetic as well. But I did have a problem with them. With the size of them, they don't look good at all. In fact, they look shit. So we're going to replace them with something a bit more cost effective, but pretty good if you've got somewhere that looks good on the car. You can just have these magnetic numbers that come on and off. But for there, we'll go in the bin. Our cheaper option, tape. Now, this is just purple tape. This is what's been hanging around in the car for the other team. Because it's purple, it's good for repairs. I'm just going to make my number with that, and I'm just going to stick it on the side and be done with it. Third and final thing, fire extinguisher. Now, this is a kilo fire extinguisher. It cost me about 40 bucks, but mounting it to the car is going to be the important bit. Now, depending on the model of car you got, you can get something like this, and this is a fire extinguisher bracket. Now, if you like the appearance and you want everything looking absolutely pretty, buy one of these. They can probably cost you under 100 bucks. I got this one for about 60, 70 bucks. I did have to get it out of Lithuania because it's a 944 and parts can be hard to get from them. But there's a heap of stuff in Australia that you can just buy this and bolt them straight in. Other ways of manufacturing your own, you can get a bit of off-cut steel, strip it between the front of the seat, and then you're all good to go. Mount your fire extinguisher on top, and you're all sorted. That's it. That's all you need. You are racetrack ready, and it hasn't cost you a lot of money. If anything, it sounds like it's probably cost me less than 400 bucks to get up and going, and a lot of that includes licensing and parts that you'll never need to buy again. The next event's going to be cheaper on the top there. So let me show you installing our fire extinguisher bracket, because that is something that everyone's going to have to do to be on track. And let's get out there and start racing. Now here we are in the passenger seat of the Porsche, and it's as simple with this bracket to just bolt it up, as you can see, to the front there. Now, one thing that's very important to remember is we want this part of the bracket facing towards the driver. And that's because when the fire extinguisher's in there like this, and if something does happen, which we don't want it to happen, you can lean over from the other side and just rip it up. You're not having to fight it and pull it the other way. So, all we have to do to install this, get a ratchet. Well, a lot of this can be done with simple hand tools at home. Loosen off the front 2 seat bolts. 1 bolt and the second bolt done there. Now, these are the holes that they actually bolt through. So you'll use your seat mount to go through like that. This actually sits underneath the rails, so you might have to pick the seat up a little bit just to squeeze it in. In this case, I'm going to have to loosen the back end off as well. So just lifting the seat up a little bit. You don't need to lift it up a lot. You can slide it in there in position. Getting the holes lined up, as simple as just jamming the bolts straight back in. There we have it. So that's our bracket all installed. And that's it. That's how simple it is. It is difficult to move the seat forward and back, so your passenger better get used to sitting in that position. But it's really, really easy to take out. I don't have to take this bracket out every single time I want to take the fire extinguisher out. I can unclip it, unbolt the bracket that's underneath there, and you can pretend it's not there. Now, these magnets, simple installation. So what you do, have a look at probably your road manual if you've got them, do a bit of research online, find out where the tow points are for your car. That's what the red stickers, there we are, they say tow. So as simple as just whacking them on where the tow points are. This one has got one at the back, so I'll get as close as possible. Easy. And we've got another tow point at the front. So I just stick those magnets on the front where it is. We know it's down there. And the battery as well. So that's what this blue triangle is. So it's there to say where the battery location is, so if they need to get to it or anything like that. These ones I stick, the battery's here. I can stick on the back end like that. I know the battery's on the inside at the back here, so if there is a problem, they know where to isolate the battery and cut it out and all that type of stuff. As simple as that. Now, other than that, what should we be taking to these events tool-wise? Now, because these are really low-stress events, they're not an event that's putting the car to the absolute extreme unless you're driving it like that, as some things. What I generally take, instead of big toolboxes and everything like that I take for this race team, I just take a simple tool bag. Your spanners, your sockets, probably a rattle gun, a torque wrench, something like this as well. Here's my dirty old generic tool bag with some generic tools in them. So if you got something like that, you got some bibs and bobs, I'd recommend just getting one of these bags. As for the apparel, that's another thing as well. Now, you're not going to have to go out and buy race suits and expensive Nomex and all that type of stuff. With a lot of these events, a cotton long sleeve shirt, long pants, maybe jeans, covered shoes, and a good helmet is all you need. Now, open face helmets, I've seen them as cheap as 50 to 100 bucks that are Australian approved. But if you want something more high spec, more than welcome, go that way. But it's not something that's going to hold you back from the track. I'll show you tomorrow morning as soon as we take this out after our preparation of what I'm wearing and go from there. Well, here we are at the Hillclimb. So we're going to go check out a couple of cars now. So this beautiful Sylvia, we've got WRXs as well, real striking colours, I might add. Even Commodores. This thing was an absolute beast all day, you know. It looks old, but it's pretty good. This is just a budget Audi that he's done some slight modifications to, you know, the seat and a bit of a cage as well. This Skyline here as well, he was having a lot of fun during the day. And even this Mini, now this had this massive bulge coming out the front with ITBs, so that was crazy. But first and foremost, we went down, started adjusting tyre pressures and getting that ready. Now, I chose for this one that the only modifications I can make during the race weekend is tyre pressures. So here we are off for our first run. As you can see, it's not looking too great on the conditions. We had a bit of rain come in late the night before, so it's very greasy around this track as well. Even if you notice, I'm coming up to a few corners and the thing just wants to back itself in and understeer and go all over the place as well. What you can see with this track is it's quite tight and twisty, so it is one that definitely takes a lot of skill. It definitely favours those front wheel drive cars, so there was definitely four wheel drives and front wheel drive cars that was performing very, very good that day. It was going really well, but the thing I loved about this, it was just a ball terror to hang on to, you know, had to slip and slide through absolutely everywhere. So as you'll hear from the rest of it, me trying to buzz it up, just trying to get it past the line. Now they have timing here as well, so you know exactly what your times are for today. Bit old school, but pretty easy to use. It also flashes up your time when you come across the finish line as well, so you know exactly what you're doing. So as you're looking around, the cars here, you know, some are real whip cracking Hillclimb beasts. Others are just your family commuter as well. There's guys here with Hyundai Getzes and, you know, Audis and Hondas, and there was even a guy here with an Isuzu that was engineered and designed by Lotus, which was pretty darn cool. So all these cars, as you show, you don't have to have, you know, this full blown and built, you know, V8 supercar and Hillclimb car. You can pretty much grab whatever car's at your disposal, whether it's something really cheap like a Hyundai Getz. This owner, he was telling me it cost him about $2,000 to get up and running. But here I am for my final run of the day. As you can see, the conditions have got a hell of a lot better. I had to change my driving style a lot. So usually in other cars when I race here, I'll probably go to first and then run it in the second gear and run the whole lap. Well, this Porsche 944, if you're not in first, you're off the boost. So I had to find myself swapping between first and second gear a lot just to keep it on the power so I could get it around the track. So look, it was all in all a fun day. It didn't cost me a lot of money to go out racing, and that's the thing I wanted to showcase here as well. Obviously the purchase of the car is going to affect that, but I've seen people, even myself, we've bought $400, $500 cars and trailered them up and had an absolute ball terror time. It's been absolutely fantastic. But if you're the guy that's even gone out and bought a sports car and wants some competition level without the high stress and the door-to-door racing and all that type of stuff, but still feels they want to have fun, this is still an excellent day out. You spend a lot of time bench racing as well. That's sitting at the back and talking to everyone about,
you know, what your results are and latest car climates and everything like that in between. So I hope this video has convinced you guys to go out and buy a car. It doesn't have to be a race car. It can be any car. Go out there, join your local club, have some fun, and get out there and start enjoying motorsport at not a high cost price tag, pretty much, at the end of it. So I could get on the track for probably around less than $400 or $500, you know, not including the purchase of the car. Some people can do it less. I've seen people get on track for $1,000 total, and then it costs them probably about $80 to $100 to run at their local hill climb event. So this is all stuff you can do. But if you want to get out there and you want to get racing, want some tips, make sure you drop some comments in there. I'll be more than happy to answer some questions. Might even go and answer and make some videos about the content. So we'll see what happens. But other than that, this is your excuse. Go buy a car and start having some fun.